Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be watching a video about Angry Bird. Yes, your old favorite game. I used to play this a lot, dude, for real. When this was, trending on those old times few years ago, bruh, this thing was good, really good game. But yeah, we're gonna see a video about Angry Birds, the slow, painful, greedy death of this game from Sunny V2. Let's see how it died and why it's not that popular anymore.
Back in 2011, Angry Birds was everywhere. They had multiple different games, toys, and movies, generating hundreds of
movies
millions
as well.
of dollars. But by 2019, they were firing masses of staff, and since then things have only gotten worse.
They fired
Perhaps
people.
it's just karma for stealing the initial idea. Angry Birds wasn't an original concept. In April
Really?
2009, a game was released named Crush the Castle, which required players to fire a trebuchet into wooden structure.
I have played many these types games like Angry Birds, like you throw and you have to throw the buildings down and all the stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't played this one, but many games like Angry Birds.
Medieval people.
Okay.
Well, 8 months later, in December 2009, game developer Rovio made an app named Angry Birds, which, while clearly being a rip-off, was better in every way. It had cooler, cleaner animated graphics, and different stages, each with different levels.
True.
You got points for every enemy killed, and points for every bird you didn't use, giving players the chance to compete for high scores. Throw in 5 different birds with 5 different abilities, as well as a cool, catchy soundtrack, and it's easy to see that Angry Birds was better. They developed 51 games prior to Angry Birds, none of which saw even the smallest bit of success. Therefore, when Angry Birds took only 2 months to become the #1...
Wow, 122 million views on an Angry Bird trailer? That is insane, dude. #1 paid app in 60 countries.
paid app in 60 countries, they understandably took the chance to milk it. They'd make loads of different varieties like
They
Angry
farmed
Birds
the hell out of
Seasons,
it.
Angry Birds Space, and Angry Birds Star Wars, helping it become the #1 paid app in Apple's App Store with 6 to 7 million paid downloads. By the end of Angry Birds' first year, they'd made $10 million US, but players still demanded more. We have so many fans who have asked for the plush toys, so these are going to be available in a couple of weeks. And we're really trying to build Angry Birds into this entertainment franchise. It took only 4 months before that announced 60,000 Angry Birds soft toys have been sold, as the game itself became the best-selling paid app of all time. Within Angry Birds itself, they'd implement microtransactions like Mighty Eagle, which allowed players to pay to clear entire levels. With celebs like Justin Bieber even advocating
even Justin Bieber tweeted about it.
For it. Angry Birds made $100 million in 2011 and went from 28 employees in the beginning of the year to 224 employees by the end of 2011.
They made bank.
5 months later, they set a new world record.
Wow, bro. This game really did a lot other than just playing that game. I only remember playing Angry Birds on a Samsung phone, but damn, a lot was going on, First mobile games used to reach 1 billion downloads. 2009 Angry Birds Season, 2010 Angry Bird Rio March 11, Angry Bird Space March 2012.
First mobile game series to reach 1 billion downloads.
Insane.
They'd double their revenue again by the end of 2012.
So before 100 mil, 200 mil.
Started to face a serious problem. The game was getting stale.
The game was getting very boring, I think so. The game was getting it's like it was kind of a same thing repeatedly.
They'd made multiple different Angry Birds versions, but hadn't changed the concept in over 3 years. As a result, in the following year, their profits more than halved, with Angry Birds falling to 59th in the App Store, forcing the franchise to try a new format. They'd release Angry Birds Go at the
I haven't played this, honestly.
The end of 2013. And while this was somewhat of a Mario Kart ripoff,
I have not played
people
this.
absolutely loved it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's fun. It is good fun. It looks good. It plays well.
Okay.
Professional reviewers gave it 7.7, while people on Reddit called it their favorite Angry Birds game.
Oh, wow.
And perfection at its finest. Rovio therefore continued to experiment, releasing an RPG game named Angry Birds Epic, which again
haven't
received
played.
incredible reviews, reading, "The latest Angry Birds title is a welcome addition to a franchise, which hasn't seen much change since its inception back in 2009. Similarly, users said it might be the best RPG title I've ever played.
And honestly, a pretty solid time. I think the approach they went with here really worked and paid off.
The only problem was, these games didn't sell merch like the original Slingshot format. Therefore, merchandise sales plummeted, while total
Went down.
2014 revenue dropped, and profits fell 73% to 10 million euros.
Oh, man.
As a result, media outlets reported, Rovio lays off 110 people as Angry Birds hype fades, representing 14% of the company's workforce. They try to fix their decline with yet another experiment, Angry Birds Pop.
I might
which
have
was
played
pretty
this.
unsuccessful. In a Reddit thread asking out of all the Angry Birds games, which one do you think is the worst, Pop was mentioned many times over. Therefore, they'd go back to basics and put out Angry Birds 2, the official sequel, although many called it a downgrade from the original. The sequel was filled to the brim with microtransactions, clearly annoying the fan base who wrote, "This is a very greedy game that keeps sucking
Asking for money,
out of you.
money,
If
money,
you
give
play
money."
well, the game becomes harder and harder until it's impossible, and then you either have to replay each level
Or
10
play or
times,
buy.
or buy gems. The game is just trying to throw you off balance
I hate these
and get
games.
under your skin
These
so
types of
that
games.
you pay more. The official IGN review said the game took significant steps backward for the massively popular series. Angry Birds 2 is missing key parts of what made previous games so universally compelling to gamers both hardcore and casual, young and old. Still, due to its intense monetization, Angry Birds 2 became their highest earning game.
Oh,
Surprisingly,
really?
however, that very same year, that announced losses of almost 15 million and
Wow.
would fire a further third of their workforce,
Again?
this time being over 200 people.
Oh, man.
This seemed to imply that Angry Birds was dead until they'd make an unexpected comeback. Turns out they'd
What is
spent
that?
the previous 3 years privately developing the Angry Birds movie. At a cost of 73 million, they'd made a risky
Didn't see.
bet.
I
But
didn't
with
watch
a
this.
star-studded cast and a fun little story, the Angry Birds movie did surprisingly well.
Okay.
It made over 350 million
Wow.
from its 70 million budget,
A lot.
and put Angry Birds back into the public spotlight. People began replaying their previously released games,
Makes
while
sense.
Angry Birds theme parks popped up in different countries.
Oh,
Media
that's cool.
outlets reported Rovio Games had its best year ever in 2016. However, the gaming releases that Angry Birds was known for was still declining in quality. In his video, I played and ranked every Angry Birds game so you don't have to.
Okay.
Jake Miller talks about Angry Birds Action,
Angry Birds Action was the start of using the new anthropomorphic designs from the movies in their games, which I think most fans agree was the real beginning of the end for the series.
which happened to be the first game after the movie. Similarly, in the Reddit thread asking about the worst Angry Birds game, one user implied it was most of them
Wow,
after
every
the
new game.
movie's release. Said games included Angry Birds Fight, aka
Oh, no,
a
this
Candy
is not
Crush
good at all.
ripoff,
Nah.
as well as Angry Birds Match, which was described as extremely bland.
Yep.
However, thankfully for Rovio, their older titles were still extremely popular, with Angry Birds 2's revenue growing 47% in 2018, despite it being over 3 years old. This gave them the budget to make a second movie. However, their $65 million bet didn't pay off so well this time.
Oh.
Forbes wrote Angry Birds 2 is worse than the original in nearly every way, whilst Rotten Tomatoes critics added, a distressingly ineffective sequel that grows less and less interesting and more tiresome as it unfolds. Still, the movie made a profit of 82 million, right as the company was making
Not
some big
bad.
changes. Despite their older games being low maintenance, Rovio decided to completely stop updating them. Then, without explanation, some of the older beloved titles, including the original Angry Birds, were deleted from the App Store. When people began to talk about what they'd done, people made compilations stating Angry Birds was dead. There were comments like, "Remember when Rovio actually cared?" whilst hashtag #BringBack2012 began to trend on Twitter. Things got so bad that Rovio apologized, stating they only did it as maintaining the highest quality of updates and live operations isn't possible with our older games. In response to the backlash, that announced they planned on redeveloping Angry Birds Classic, which was re-released on the App Store in 2022, but at a price of $1.99 with no in-game purchases. They changed Classic's name to Red's First Flight, making it harder to find in the App Store, thus prompting players to buy the newer, more profitable games.
I see.
This successfully fooled some people who struggled to find it on the App Store. However, others knew exactly what Angry Birds was doing. They got rid of the old ones so that you would have no other choice than to play the modern Candy Crush-esque games. They despised the games that made the company and so lost its spirit. Rovio basically confirmed this, openly stating they changed the name due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio. They further requested that fans continue to bring that passion to our live Angry Birds slingshot games, such as Angry Birds 2, however players weren't too happy. We hope those fans can continue to bring that passion to our other games which have been designed to be more psychologically manipulative and stuffed with more microtransactions. Fixed it for you. The drama was so severe, it seemingly halted any future games, as Angry Birds Classic is still the most recent title, released way back in 2022. In 2023, Rovio was sold to Sega, although this has done little to fix their reputation. One recent tweet expressed, "I very much still love Angry Birds. That said, the current state of it is dog shit. My hope for the franchise is at an all-time low right now. I'll just continue to enjoy what I love about it, but it's sad to see what it's become. Despite everything, Angry Birds isn't finished, as they just announced they're making a third movie, although with the rest of the franchise in decline, its performance might be interesting."
I don't know how good or bad that will be, dude. Angry Bird third movie when their second movie barely made them some profit, and making another movie, I don't know that it will do that good or not. It depends, dude. Honestly, I haven't watched any of these. Honestly, I haven't watched any of these. And I haven't played few of their games as well, but I have played Angry Birds, the original, the classic, you can say. But yeah, bro, that game was really good at it when it was released at its time. But yeah, after that I lost the passion, or I lost the fun in it. But yeah, because many other nowadays playing Angry Birds is really different, really crazy, really unique, you can say, because you really gotta love Angry Birds to really play these days, because there are so many other crazy, better, good games than Angry Birds these days, so the competition have gone really a lot more than in those times in 2012 or whenever this thing was released, but yeah, really good video from Sunny V2 about how it showed from start till now, about how it went good and how it went bad, and it was really a circle, like a whole emotions were going on, like a cycle of motions, sometime up, sometimes not making money, sometimes making a lot of money, sometimes suddenly falling, and then releasing the movie and again making money, then releasing a bad game, not making money, then they started to fire many of their employees again, then again hiring, made money, then they did not made money, they had to fire employees. So it was really like a crazy playing with emotions of their company. But yeah, they got sold to Sega, and yeah, because he was like, bruh, I am done with this, okay, and we cannot update this old game anymore. You wanna play this is from 99 cents to 199 now, and you wanna play this, you can play. If not, bye bye, I am out, you know. But yeah, this was the video from Sunny V2 about Angry Birds, and I will see you guys in the next one.